What's up? This is Andy. I'm here to give you some of those Tuesday deli slices. I know this video came in a little late, had to do a little traveling. I know you guys, you're like a zombie dangling under a steak and you're starting to panic. Don't worry, the picks are coming. Here they are. They're here. You can relax, calm down. Are you foaming at the mouth? Wipe the foam off, and then we'll get into the picks. But first, we're going to get into that great DraftKings Sportsbook promotion. Bet $5.
Here's $5.
All right, zombies, $5.
$5.
And whether your team wins, loses, no matter what you bet, DraftKings Sportsbook will credit you with $200 in free bet credits, regardless, as long as you're over 21 and you're located in a state where gambling, sports betting is permitted. And you can't be one of those guys with a problem. We don't discriminate against people with problems, but if you got a gambling problem, you have all sorts of other problems, you are welcome here right on this channel. But if you got that gambling problem, you got to call 1-800-GAMBLER. They have people who can help you there, and I'm going to try to help you with some Tuesday sniffs here. Now, before I do that, you guys know we have fair relationships here. You know, you thank me at times, I thank you at times. Look, here's the live follower count. So over 100 of you came my way since last video. I think I got to keep providing these updates. Once that gets to, am I pointing at the wrong side? Once that gets to 10,000, we got that sniff drip coming. And, you know, I don't know if you guys are lying to me. I got sniff drip DMs left and right. I don't know. And I'm going to start working on some graphics, but that is going to be quite funny when we eventually get to that 10,000 number that apparently is like climbing Mount Everest in terms of the social media landscape. So looking at these Tuesday games, you got some teams going to their final game before break. I really feel like we've been focused in on taking home teams on their last game before the break. Didn't add up the total win-loss record of these teams right before break, how many won their last home game, but it really seems like the home team, because it makes sense, right? That road team, the classic mental checkout right before the break, especially with teams who are cemented in the standings. Like, I don't think it's any coincidence you're seeing the Bruins lose some of these games. They are so far up there in the standings. What do they really have to play for right now before the All-Star break? As it's been mentioned, like, these are like the dog days of summer in terms of like baseball, but this is the hockey version. Before All-Star break, you're cemented in the standings. Yes, teams who are clamoring for points, it will mean more to them, but there are certain situations that set themselves up that I think allow for some good bets. I mean, last night, Winnipeg, they took that one. We took that -1. They cleared that with the and won by 2, which was good. So even if you took the -1.5 puck line, you were rewarded. Now, on this particular day, we got two relative favorites, but the first thing that I'm going to look at is, this is something I've kind of been holding on to last year, all year long. Columbus, although they've been playing slightly better, any given game, no matter who they're playing, they can go into one of those offensive funks. They just don't have a lot of talent at their disposal. When they were up there in Western Canada, they were playing well. Now immediately back to a couple losses, but they have been a little more feisty lately. You know, their record isn't that terrible over the last 10. They spoiled a lot of bets. They spoiled your Flames 60-minute bets. They spoiled your Flames by 2. They spoiled all your Edmonton bets against them. So, you know, they are spoilers, and I might be thinking about how I can use that in my favor. But the first thing I'm going to do is take the under 6.5 for Columbus, Washington. I do not view Washington as some high-scoring powerhouse on the road against a team like Columbus. I'm going to take my chances that this is going to go under 6.5. You will never see me take an over on this particular matchup. If I lose, so be it. But this has served us well many times over. I told people on Sunday, you know, certain match like Carolina, Boston, yeah, can those teams score goals? But you put those two together, you'll never see me take the over on those two teams. I do not care. And although these two teams are completely different in terms of talent level, I will never take an over between these two teams. If it's at 6, maybe I'll stay away. They gave me 6.5, so I'm going under on this particular game. I'm going to revisit this game in a second. Or what do you want me to just stay here? Fine. Johnny Gaudreau kind of been piling up those points, kind of been getting on that offensive groove. We know how he goes. Once he gets a dinky assist on everything when they're scoring goals and things are going relatively well for them. Look, we've been doing very well on those high minus player point props when the situation presents itself. Some examples that come to mind, like we've been using Aho. We've been using Nylander. I like that when it's a game that calls for it, and they're in a great situation set up to register a point, whether on the power play or whatnot. I don't mind taking a high minus and combining it with something else. We've hit some player point parlays, alliteration in this last week or so. So I'm going to take that Johnny Gaudreau over half of a point, and I'm going to combine that with the adjusted total from the Carolina game. We saw great defense from Carolina. Carolina, weirdly, I know they lost Pacioretty, which is another reason I feel more comfortable taking the under. Great defensive game against the Bruins, and coming off of that, rolling into the next game, Freddie Anderson played last game. He looked great. Remember, he only trailed Igor Shesterkin last year in terms of the metrics with the goalie. He was the second best goalie if you believe all the metric goals, goals against expected, saves above expected, all that stuff. So if he's in there, they don't have Pacioretty, and you get the classic home defense from them. I feel comfortable taking the adjusted under 6.5. You're going to have to pay for it against the Kings, and then the Johnny Gaudreau over half of a point. So I'll put those two together. That will get to plus money. Also, you can combine the 2+ goals in that Montreal game. Now, when it comes to teams like Montreal and the Senators, these are just two out of the playoff teams, and those are the ingredients that usually make for overs. But what I want to do is take the both teams to score 2+. You guys know I've utilized that one, and you can either parlay that with the Carolina money line, the Johnny Gaudreau over half a point, Sebastian Aho, who's had to shoulder more of the load, and he's been registering a point in multiple consecutive games. You can even take those two players. You can take Gaudreau and Aho. Those are the assortment of bets that I like. Let me just rip this off because I know this sounds weird, because I know I'm not showing you exact tickets. But yes, Carolina to win, absolutely fine with that. The under adjusted 6.5 in that game. Sebastian Aho to register a point in that game. I like Johnny Gaudreau to register a point against Washington. Now, if you want to get sniff-centric, another invented term, I will take a same game parlay in that Washington game. And by golly, call me crazy, but I'm going to take the Columbus Blue Jackets plus 1.5 and under 7.5, just in case, because if I'm taking a plus 1.5, I never want to go over 5.5 or under 6.5, because if they lose 4-2, I need that half a goal spread to win. And if you bump the total down from under 7.5, then they can lose 4-3 and you can still hit that bet. So either I would take a puck line and then keep it under 6.5, or take the plus 1.5 and push it to 7.5. Do you get what I'm saying? Because those numbers, listen, you don't have to be a big analytics guy. I like the guys over at Odds Shopper. So if you disagree with any of my picks, you can go over to Odds Shopper and you can grab some of those props that we had from yesterday and see some of their algorithm plays, or as I like to call them, basement of Area 51 plays. But this same game parlay just comes from the deep part of my nostrils for a Columbus Blue Jackets plus 1.5 sniff that I'm combining with the under 7.5. I think that puts you at like plus 110 or something of that nature. So like those are the assortments. I know I gave them, I'm going to run through these quickly once again. I'm cool with Carolina money line, cool with Sebastian Aho registering a point in that game. I like bumping that total up to 6.5 in case you get one of those 4-2s. And then I like Johnny Gaudreau to register a point. I like a same game parlay in that game, the plus 1.5 for Columbus with the under 7.5. And then also 2+ goals. Both teams to score 2 goals in the Montreal Senators game. Any assortment of those bets or combination, you guys take all my picks and parlay away. I know that's what you do anyway, so I don't even know why I have to give specific bets, because I know you guys blow through those things like stop signs and you just say, no, I'm putting them all together. I don't, whatever he says, that's just adding that to the ticket. You're adding everything to the ticket until it says you can't add that many, and then you just keep hitting delete one until it shows you a number and you hit submit. I know that's what you're doing, and that's what you're going to do tonight. You never had your car. I don't know, maybe. Am I pulling? Am I grasping for never had your car references? You want to hear something ridiculous? Do you know I never use that reference in my, like some of the things you hear on this show, I use outside in my life. I never tell people that they never had their car. I've told you people you haven't had your car, I'd say 16 times in the last 64 days. So I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe I subconsciously am thinking about the original Fast and the Furious all the time. I don't know. Maybe I should give it a watch. Maybe I should give it a watch and watch that one back. But as far as you guys, you watch these games tonight because we only got a few days left before the NHL All-Star game here. Good luck to all of you. Better luck to me. Make sure you're subscribed to the Odd Shopper channel. Make sure you're following me on social media. I thank those quick 100. Keep telling more people. We get it to 10K. Instagram unlocks the features, and I'll do some lives maybe during the game. Well, it opens up more. We're growers and showers around here. All right, take it easy. I'll be back with you tomorrow. See ya.